Hello everyone and welcome to a Plotly Cloud video. This one is going to showcase how to take a application that we built from the ground up and quickly deploy it with Plotly Cloud. So over here you can see that this is a basic Dash application. We have the imports at the top, we have the initialization of the app. Right here is also something that I would recommend adding, making sure that you are declaring the server. So server equals app.server. Outside of that, this whole application just basically reads a CSV file, and from that CSV file, it just displays it within the app layout by creating a little dashboard for us. So if we scroll down, we have one callback, which is to update the dashboard. But other than that, that is pretty much it. So I will run this so that you can get an idea of what this application looks like in development. But here we go. This is what it looks like. We can dive into different states, and as you can see, it updates and reflects automatically. It's got that interactivity that we like with the Plotly graphs and with the interactive dashboard. But with this, how do we go about actually deploying it? So I'm going to dive back in here. The other thing that I would like for you to make sure that you have is a requirements file. And you can easily create a requirements file. Basically, in your terminal, you'll type out this command, pip freeze requirements.txt. And this will create the requirements folder for you. As you can see, it just did for me. So this allows the application, and whenever you go to deploy, it knows what packages are dependencies for the application. So that's a very useful command, but I would make sure that you have this requirements.txt file in your project structure. So other than that, a git ignore, you can look up how to make one, or you can use or leverage AI to help you make one. But this is the simple git ignore that I included. So with that, you can go up to where your application is located. For me, I'm going to right click and then I'm going to do open in, and then I'm going to do finder. This is going to allow me to find where the application is. Then basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into cloud.plotly.com. I logged in, and this is where you can actually drop in your own application and launch it. So just go over to my apps, and then in the top right hand corner there is a new section, and right here you can upload any files that you want. So for me, because I found it in the filer, I will just go here. This is the folder that I have for the application, and I'm just going to drop that in there like so. So everything passed and it looks really good. It says these are all the requirements to actually get the application hosted, and I satisfied all of them. But basically look through that, and if you see anything that might be an issue, just fix it. But with that, we can also change the app URL directly from this right here. And for example, I could just say Austin's Plotly app, and that could be everything I need. Another thing to note is right down here we have the environment variables. You can add as many environment variables as you need, but basically these are the secret keys that are associated with your application depending on what you're doing. So if you're using an API in your application and there is an API key, you would typically keep that within your .env file, and you could use like environ to basically pull on that and bring it into the application so that you have access to it while emitting it from your GitHub repository. But whenever you go into deployment, the environment variables are something that you type out manually in a section like this, and this will allow your application to read these environment variables and to use them where needed, as my example for an API key. So with that, this application doesn't need any. I'm just going to save and publish, and we are going to watch this build. So with this building, there is the settings. And if we click on that, we can dive into the build logs or the runtime logs as those are created. The other thing that I'd like to bring to your attention is we have this sharing option. This allows you to select what type of app visibility you want for the application that you just uploaded. So you can make it public or you can make it private, all depending on what your requirements are. But for some use cases, you might just want to keep it internal for your own company to see, but you don't want the rest of the world to see, then you would keep it private. And with that, there is this option to share with other users. So if I wanted to keep it private, but I wanted to share it with a colleague, I could just type in their email right here and I can share it directly with them. So that's a very powerful out of the box integration that allows you to keep your application secure, force individuals to authenticate and log in to view it, or alternatively, you can make it public so anybody can reach and view the application that you deployed. So outside of that, there is the general settings. There isn't too much to go over in this. The only thing that I'd like to bring to your attention is in the name and URL section, you can also change your app URL right here. So with that, you can also dive into environment variables if you build out the application further in the future. And if you want to add those, you can do that over here, or if you forgot to do it through the other screen. So with that, it's that simple. And as you can see here, the application is running. So if I go over to the URL right here, I can dive into a new tab on my browser and I can pull it up and there's my application hosted. So it was that simple. And as somebody who has deployed many applications throughout my career, I can tell you that this is the most seamless and easy way to go about building out your own Dash applications. It makes it fast, easy, and it's drag and drop, get deployed, and there you go. So with that, it's a great update. And the last thing that I'd like to kind of talk about is going to be, if you go into the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you can dive into your account up top, or you can go into billing. They have a early access and they also have a trial for anybody that creates an account at this moment. For the trial, you get the ability to launch an app that will run on Plotly Cloud for free. So you can build something out, you can get it deployed and hosted for free. But they also have other tiers for this subscription. For example, a Pro for $30 a month, you can get 2 consecutive applications running. For the Max, you can get 5 concurrent running applications, and then for Enterprise, it's unlimited, but you need to contact them directly for pricing. But with that, the tip and trick that I'd like to leave you with is that you don't need necessarily to have your application running at all times. You can pause it and you can start it back up again whenever you want. So for example, if I am finished with this application and I want to put it on pause and I want to get a separate application hosted and I don't want to change my tier, I could basically go over to Actions right next to Live App and I can stop this specific application so that it isn't deployed anymore. But with that, it's still on my Plotly Cloud and I can start it back up whenever I want again. As you can see here, I can press start and it will just build it right up from where it last left off. The reason why you would want to do this is as you go about building out new applications, you are probably going to have a few different projects. And as you do that, you can turn some on and off and whenever you want. And yeah. With that, I hope that you find this useful. Plotly Cloud is an amazing addition to the Plotly ecosystem, and I recommend just diving into it. We have a link in the description down below to kind of help you get started with this. But outside of that, we also have a bunch of videos diving into these topics and showcasing Plotly Cloud, Plotly Studio, and Dash Enterprise. So be sure to check those out. And with that, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.